Here's everything you need to know on how to create a content cycle.
Spend less time in production while still making more content.
This is how it's done. Using video to multiply yourself, create content from the valuable conversations that you're having.
Today we're talking about the content cycle.
So the idea here is to save time taking the organic activities and conversations that are happening in your business, repurposing that into valuable, educational, recyclable content, both ephemeral and evergreen. The first initial step of this is based off of frequently asked questions and sales calls. Anyone that signs up consultation with Dub will see that we ask, is it okay if we record this call for our own purposes? So that's something you can do in your own business. You don't want to record your calls without asking permission. So make sure you're getting permission from the people, and then you record these calls, and that way you can actually analyze the call, see what worked, what didn't, what provided value, what questions were asked, based off the frequently asked questions within your emails, chat support, wherever your questions are coming in on your social channels. You repurpose those answers, so that's both ephemeral and evergreen content repurposed from live conversations you're actually having.
Problems that you're trying to solve, and then it goes into production mode.
Even when you're having a one-to-one conversation, you're actually creating valuable content.
The goal of your video is to really speak to all your audiences.
Parsing content isn't just taking a YouTube video you made and cutting that up into smaller pieces for other social media. Whenever you're communicating, that's an opportunity to transform that into evergreen content. Once you create content, it's working for you 24/7. Even if you're sleeping, that content is still out there creating value for you.
These could be slides, these could be videos, they could be emails. Figure out a way to take this content and distribute it across all your channels. That's where things get exciting. Little snippets of content, micro flowers that people love to consume. But guess what? Ephemeral content drips down the feed, people consume it, people see it, and then they never see it again. That's where your evergreen content comes in. That's content that exists on YouTube, on your blog, or even guest posts of other blogs. And if someone's typing something on Google, if you have an evergreen asset, like a video, like a blog post, like an article, they're gonna find that. You're gonna get more traffic. I remember Darius said something really powerful one day, which was that he's always looking to clone himself. Video is a really powerful medium to be able to clone yourself.
Our biggest tip from this video is that when you create a piece of content, don't just use that in one place. It can be parsed out, so you're actually working less, but you get more value.
Really early on in the process, I was, having great success with calls, and I was like, man, I wish I could scale this. I'm not able to have these personal conversations with people where I'm speaking to them, building that relationship. I'm not able to replicate that easily, and then I'm like, wait, we can do this. It's just a matter of using video on enough channels to get it in front of people. So instead of having to email it to them directly, that's when we began our social journey, started posting all of the content that makes sense on all of our channels. LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, on all channels. It's really where we ended up taking it. And it was just really just based off that realization that there's so much value in the communication. Being able to scale that was, initially it was like, oh, how am I gonna do this? And I'm like, wait, I can actually take the valuable parts of this conversation and make it into a video and put that for everyone to see.
One of the problems that we suffer from a lot, especially in our early days, is that people need a human touch point to be able to convert, to get over the finish line, right? So, we've got all this great content, we've got these ebooks, and we've got this valuable information that we're providing to people, but a lot of them can't get over the finish line. They can't put the credit card in, they can't make that commitment until they've had that human connection. So how do we solve that problem?
Use the content to really streamline the process to where people, by the time they get on that call, they're ready to push, they're ready to put in their credit card, they're ready to jump over the line. They just need that last touch. I mean, if you can completely automate your business where there's no human touch points involved, that's a dream, that's ideal, I guess. But in reality, those people are probably not as likely to stick around because they have not made a connection with someone human. When they have a complaint, when they have something that's not working for them, they're going to reach out to that person they made that connection with and like, hey, you're my lifeline here. What can I do?
We've got all these success stories from people all over the world. I mean, it's been a phenomenal ride, phenomenal process.
With these success stories that we have around the world, we can now connect to so many different people in every different aspect. E-commerce, SaaS platforms, there's so many applications where video can help people grow. Have our content speak directly to these people. So we have an entire vertical for e-commerce, and we have success stories related to specifically to how video has helped e-commerce businesses. Same thing goes for real estate, mortgage, other SaaS platforms, what they're doing with video and what they're doing with our platform to help them in their business. And when they can see the growth and how it's worked for somebody else, you end up asking yourself the question, you're like, why can't I do that myself? What's the difference? They're able to do it. They have the same exact kind of setup. They're able to succeed with this. What's stopping me? And that really ends up being like the final question. Like, how can I, leverage this tool to succeed in my own business. When content can speak to you directly, that's when it's going to really resonate.
I think the opportunity for a lot of businesses is to really carve out specific niches. That's your core audience, and from that you can scale. But I think the key is to really figure out a niche and a target audience, and to not try to boil the ocean. I think a lot of businesses, they try to boil the ocean, which means they try to cater to every single target audience, every single vertical, you know, big businesses, medium-sized businesses, small businesses, consumers.
When you have the cameras rolling and you're creating a piece of content, consider creating multiple variations of that piece of content for different target audiences. So that way, you're only shooting for that one day, but you get 5 different videos out of that that can appeal to different target audiences.
When you are creating content, you can't keep producing the same things, you can't keep speaking the same statements. Your vision and your audience evolves. Your content needs to follow that.
So when you make content, think about the ways you can parse it to leverage it across as many platforms as possible.
So take your organic conversations you're already having with your customers, and repurpose this content, create valuable, educational, evergreen, and ephemeral content. Thanks for watching this video. For more valuable content, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned.